All right, good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to this live broadcast. Good evening. My name is Mary Chima. All right, so if you are with me, I need to get feedback straight up. I am using my laptop, and the quality of my laptop has not been great for some time, but I'm hoping it's better today, and I would like to get feedback from you. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Is the picture quality on your phone or any other gadget, is it good? Please, if you can see me, you can hear me, please let me know in the comments if you can see me, or that you can see me, and that the picture quality that you see on your screen is just fine. Do I need a little more light? Is it just fine? Please let me know in the comments. My name is Mary Shima. I am the founder of the Parenting Through Mentorship community. I'm parenting through mentorship or resources, PTM resources. We're here today. Usually we're here at 1 p.m. At 1 p.m. Good evening, Dari. How are you doing? Usually, please, can you see me, Dari? Is the picture quality okay, or is it looking blurry? Please let me know, and let me know where. Okay, you're watching me from Facebook. Please let me know what the picture quality is like, if I have to change the device or if this is just fine. All right. So great. So usually we'll have this session on Thursday, but at 1 p.m. But today we're having it at 7 p.m. because duty called. Mommy duty called. I had to be at the kids' school. Sorry about that. So welcome to this live broadcast. It is PTM, the time where we come and talk about real topical issues in parenting, issues that are universal from Nigeria to Uganda, the US to Bulgaria, Burundi, and everywhere. The same problems or the same challenges that we have in our parenting. Today, we're going to be looking at how you can get your child all pumped up, all set up, all ready to succeed in this term. Okay, by now, almost everybody is back in school. I want to believe that. Okay, that by now, almost everyone is back in school. So our children are all back in school, whether they are in regular schools or they are in home or they are homeschooled or whatever, wherever your children are, I'm sure they are back to learning. So how do you ensure that this term is one of those terms to remember? How do you ensure that this term is that term that they will remember, that term that they break all the boundaries, when it comes, or limitations when it comes to succeeding? How do you ensure that this term is that remarkable term that makes the difference? All right, so that's what we're talking about today. If you are here with me, don't just stay in the background. Please let me know that you have joined me and where you are joining me from. I am streaming from the capital city of Nigeria. I am streaming from Abuja. So if you come online, let me know where you are watching me from. So welcome to this live broadcast. Let's get right into it. Children are all gone back to school. Children, for some people, this is first week of school. For some people, from other people, this is second, third, fourth week of school. Fourth, okay, maybe people in America and places like that. So this is that time of the year where the children return back to school. And as I said in one of my posts today, I said this happens to be the time that we are checking all the lists when it comes to our children going back to school. So if I ask you, school supplies checked, stationery checked, right? School fees checked, resumption, everything checked. Have you prayed for your child? Oh, check. You have committed your children in the hands of God. We do all of these things, okay? But the one thing we always forget to do, or many parents forget to do, is to create a plan ultimately to help the child succeed during this time, right? We go to school, our children return to school, we send our children to school, and we don't have a plan on ground that will help our children or that will help us support our children to succeed in school during the time. So they go back to school, no real expectations. The only thing that we say to them is, oh, you need to focus on you go to school, especially for those ones who go to boarding school. We sing all the songs of how they need to get focused, how they need to recognize that school is not the place where they go and play. You're not going to school for so and so reason. You're going to school because you're supposed to be learning and all of that. But hey, we do not set those concrete goals, the goals that put us on the same page with our children. Goals that make our children understand what is expected of them. Goals that make our children understand that they are meant to set goals for themselves. Okay, if you're here, I see you. You say you're here. Please, can you see me clearly? Is the sound okay? Is the picture quality okay? All right. Hi from Orlando, Florida. Is the picture quality okay? Please let me know if you can see me, okay, and if you can hear me well. All right, so welcome. Thank you for joining me. All right, so what do you do besides praying for your children, buying all the supplies they need for the term? Besides praying for them, buying all the supplies they need for the term, and making sure all of these other things are in place. What are those other things that are necessary that we need to do, or that are necessary that we need to put in place to ensure that our children succeed, to ensure that our children thrive, to ensure that our children are learning effectively, to ensure that our children are growing, to ensure that the purpose for education is being attained? These are the things that we are going to be talking about today. So as children return back to school, or as our children begin the term, it is your responsibility as a parent to ensure that your child is enjoying their learning. I say this often. You do not have to know, or you do not have to have everything that it takes for your child to succeed. You don't have to have it. You don't have to, you don't have to be the one to deliver everything that they need to thrive, or everything that they need to succeed. But you need to make it your business to know everything that your children need to thrive, or everything that your children need to succeed. Thank you for joining us. So you need to make it your business. You need to know what your children need to succeed, what your children need to thrive. I'm here to learn on the goals to set for my 3-year-old. You're welcome. You're in the right place. All right. So yes, you need to know what your child needs to succeed. You need to know what your child needs to thrive. You need to know what your child needs to enjoy learning. The truth is, and we take this for granted, dear parents, the truth is, if your child is not enjoying learning, learning is not happening. If your child is not enjoying the learning, learning is not happening. Your child is cramming. Your child is following other people. Your child is dragging themselves along. Your child is probably struggling. But real learning, that kind of learning that is internalized, that kind of learning that becomes a part of the child, that kind of learning that is owned by the child, is not happening until the child is enjoying that learning. So as a parent, it is your responsibility to ensure that your child is enjoying their learning, to ensure that your child is developing skills, and to ensure that your child is gaining independence and mastery. So if you have sent your child to school this term, if you're about to send your child to school this term, if your child is in school this term, these are the 3 things that should be priority as far as school is concerned as a parent. That's 1, your child is learning and your child is enjoying that learning. 2, that your child is developing skills. Your child is growing and developing skills. And then 3, that your child is beginning to get independence, is gaining independence and mastery when it comes to their schoolwork and whatever it is that they are doing in school. or whatever learning or education is happening in your child's life, be it in school, at home, or wherever. It is your responsibility to ensure that these three things are happening in the life of your child. Okay? Now, your first point of call in all of this, your first point of call is that as a parent, you are in tandem. As a parent, you are on the same page. As a parent, you know that your child understands why they need an education and why they need to be in school. So, yes, even your 2-year-old can be made, or your 3-year-old can be made. Thank you for putting that down. Oh, Malia, that's you. Thank you for putting that down. Sorry. All right. So it is your responsibility as a parent first, or the starting point in all of this is that you are on the same page with your child. No child should be told to do anything. Okay. If you want to build that connection, that relationship, and make sure that you are in sync with your children at all times, then make it a habit that you make your children know, understand, and believe in the reason behind whatever they are doing. Okay, so at your 2-year-old level, at the level of your 2-year-old, make the child understand why he has to do whatever he has to do, the benefits of what he has to do, how that thing benefits them, not you, their parents. We need to make our children understand that whatever we want for them is for their benefit and not for you. So you need to stop saying things like, I am disappointed in you. You have to make me proud. You know, when you do those things, you set the stage for your children to be entitled. Okay, for your children to think that everything that they do is for your benefit. So your children decide to go to school or not to go to school because if they don't go to school, somehow it will bite you, it will pain you, you will fall, or something will happen to you. No. So we need to stop things like, oh, you need to make me proud. You disappointed me. You this, you that. Let it be all about the child. So, even for your 1-year-old, for your child in the cradle, at every point, let them know that what you are doing or what you want them to do is for their good. Hey, sweetie, you need to have a bath right now. I know you do not love having bath, but sweetie, if you don't have a bath, you are going to be dirty, or you will probably smell, because the last time you had a bath was a day ago and the weather is really hot, and when sweat stays in your body, it makes you don't smell fresh. Let your children know the gain in what they are doing or why they need to do what they are doing. So your first or your beginning point this term is to make your child understand why they are going to school, the purpose of school in their life, or the need for education in their lives, and what other things that your children are doing, or whatever constitutes the education that you're giving your children. If you've been following me, you will know by now that every time I talk about education, I'm not just talking about their academic works and what happens in the classroom. For me, education spans beyond that. Okay, we have what we call our signature, areas of education at PTM. Okay, we have our signature areas, and it comprises of kingdom life, habit training, self management, home management, lifelong learning, leadership skills, and then, of course, interests and habits, and, of course, financial skills. These 8 areas are principal for us when we are talking about education. And then when you're talking about habit training, you're looking at their social skills, their emotional skills, and all of that. So that falls within their habit training, because, of course, you will train habits that will help them grow in the area of their emotions, that will help them grow in their social skills, that will help them grow in their cultural skills, that will help them grow in all of these different areas. So when I'm talking about education, please open your mind and don't limit it to their classroom experiences and what happens in their academic sphere. is broader than that. So in whatever area you're educating your children, first thing or the starting point is that you make your children understand why they need the education. So if by now your children have resumed school and you've not had this conversation, beautiful. The weekend is a good time. So the weekend, have that conversation with your children while you're driving, while you're sitting at dinner time, whenever is suitable. Have the conversation with them about the need for education. I like to do this when I talk to my children. I like to pick their brains first. I like to know their experiences. I like to know how they see things from their perspective first before I mount on the experiences that they have. So I will usually throw questions like, come to think of it, why do you think you need to go to school, sweetie? Why do you think you need to go to school? Why do you think you need an education? Like, I could start by saying something like, this education, do we really need education? I'm just thinking about it today, do we need education? You need to throw your children off balance like that, so that you want to hear things from their perspective, because when they hear you ask questions like that, they are not sure. In fact, some of them would think you are invariably saying that education is not important. Do you get? Some of them would think that you're saying education is not important, and they would probably come from that end because they want to please you. So you also need to know if your child has come to that place of confidence where your child can stick to their own opinion or their own perspective, especially if you're talking to your preteen or your teenager. You need to know that your child has been able to build a strong character where they can stand by what they think, and they are not just responding but based on what they think you want to hear. Okay, so ask them questions like that so that you can open the conversation to know if they understand why they need an education, or if they are in tandem with you as far why there is a need for them to go to school, and whatever gain that whole exercise is to to them, not to you as their parents. So that's the beginning point where you're starting all of this conversation. Now I'm going to be focusing on 3 areas. So I say, you cannot pray. You cannot just pray. Talk to your children, give them advice about being focused in school, especially for those ones who are going to boarding school. You can't only pray or have those advice sessions with them where you tell them how you need to focus and all of that. Prepare and make sure they have all the resources that they need, pay the school fees, and then drop them off in school and decide that it is done. No, you need to sit down and create plans. You need to create plans for the school year. You need to create plans for the school term, okay? Because your goal is to help your child maximize their potential. Your goal is to help your child attain excellence. If excellence is a value for you and your family, if you're raising children who understand excellence in everything that they do, then you need to start by telling, if that is what's your value, if that is part of your values, then you need to ensure that as your children go to school, they go with a mindset of excellence. So no, they're not going to wing. You cannot achieve excellence by winging things. You cannot achieve excellence by leaving things to chance. For you to attain excellence, there has to be some structure, there has to be some system, there has to be a pattern that will help you achieve excellence and, of course, reproduce excellence over and over again. We do not want children who do one-offs. We do not want our children to, the success of our children to be a fluke. We want children who are consistent, right, in everything that they do. And that consistency will only come when your children understand a pattern and they repeat that pattern over and over again. When your children understand a system and they follow that system over and over again. Of course, if there is a need to tweak, they will tweak. But basically, they have a system. They have a framework. They have a pathway. They have a way that they do their things that make them exceptional. So you cannot achieve this by just saying to them, make sure you pray every morning when you wake up in school. Oh, stay focused on what you are doing in school. Oh, don't go and follow anybody. Oh, remember the parents, that these are good things. But hey, these are not smart. These are not specific. These are not goals oriented. There are no goals here. When you say to your child, when you go to school, please make sure you focus on your education. What's the goal exactly? Right? What's the goal exactly? Okay, so at this friend, please, if you're watching us on YouTube and you have not subscribed to our channel, this is the time you want to click on the subscription button so you can get a notification every time we go live. If you're on Facebook and you have a friend who needs to be here right now, please invite them. On YouTube, share the link on your status, on wherever your friends can join us. Let's have this. I would like to have questions at the end of this session. So 3 areas you want to focus and create goals in. Number 1 is you have to create a parenting plan for yourself for the school year. Create a parenting plan for yourself. Okay, it is very key. You cannot be planless and expect your children to have plans. You have to have a plan of your own as a parent, coming from the parenting angle. Okay, create a plan that takes into cognizance your children's calendar, first of all. What is the school calendar for the year? What kind of parent are you? Are you a working parent? Are you a parent who works remotely? Are you a parent who works in an office? Are you a parent who runs a business? How does that affect your being present for your children? How does that affect your being involved in your children's education? Because hey, there is a huge difference between a parent that is present and involved in the education of their children, okay, from a parent who isn't. I tell you and I promise you this, okay? I'm talking now in my capacity as a parent coach, and as a teacher, a homeroom teacher, a classroom teacher. So I'm talking from this perspective, so you know that you're talking to the right person this evening, or the right person is talking to you. When it comes to your child's education and supporting your child, I am your plug. When it comes to your child's education, supporting your child effectively, I mean, from a perspective of within the classroom, outside the classroom, and then a parent who is what's the word? A parent who is soaked in supporting their child. Then in these 3 angles, I am your plug. Any day, anytime. My solutions are take them to the bank. Take my solutions to the bank. That's what I'm trying to say to you, right? But I am just glad here. I'm glad to share my experiences, basically. I'm glad to share my experiences. I'm glad to share what I have done in the past. I'm glad to share what I have worked with parents, okay, what I have used to work with parents. I'm glad to share all of this with you. All right, so this is what I did, or what I usually would do at a time where I had a 9 to 5. Okay, so I used to work in a school at that time. And so what I would do is I will take my school calendar. Now, as a teacher, that's how busy it can get, isn't it? Like, I am a teacher in a classroom, meaning I have to be there every day, one to the end of school. So if there's anyone that would say I didn't have time or I don't have time, then that would be me. At least if you are a marketing staff, if you're a salesperson in a company, at least you will go out and, you know, in the midst of your routine or whatever for the day, you can take some time and pop in at the children's school, right? As a customer service person, you can relieve yourself, or, you know, you can ask for excuse and get out and all that. But as a teacher, it's very difficult for you to leave your classroom, first of all, because it means you will throw the school into looking for a replacement for you or someone to, you know, it's a little more difficult, you know, when you are like a classroom teacher than it is, you know, in other places. Okay, anyway, I'm talking from what I know, right? All right, so basically what I'm saying is it was tight. Okay, so but what I would do is I would take, you know, my school calendar, and I would take my child's school calendar, because we weren't in the same school, right? So what I did was I looked at my schedule, like I looked at our calendar for the year against his calendar for the year, and I begin to marry the dates. What days does he have this event that I need to be there? What days does he have this event that I need to be there? You know, I check all those days, and, you know, when they don't clash with the days that I have in my school, I am glad that we have a big event in my own school. Then I am glad. So the next thing, what do? I begin to check how sensitive is this period. Is it a period that I can get excused to, leave the office and attend? I mean, what time would it be? So I always wait for my child's school calendar, with like restlessness, like let it come until it comes. I don't exactly have my plans for the year or for the term, basically. And then that comes and I begin to match the dates and all of that. So I pen down the dates that I will need to show up in the school. And if it happens that those days or any of those days clashes with the day that I have a special event in my school that I know there is no way anybody's going to let me go, I create plans immediately. So it automatically means that daddy will have to go for this event alone. And if it so happens that for some reason my husband isn't going to be present, immediately I look for the next in line in my support system. I'm calling my brother, I'm calling my very close friends, like, hey, I am not going to be here on this day. Please just leave that day open. You're going to show up for counseling for me, something like that. But basically, what I'm saying is, I make plans to ensure that no single event happens in school without our child having us or someone who is there to us show up for him, knowing that we are there rooting for him. So as we stand, there is hardly any event that has happened in school that I and my husband, or I or my husband, did not show up for any of our kids. It has to be something I can't right now, apart from, I can't even put my finger, I can't remember, right? Basically. So that's the first thing that we do. We make sure we match our calendars and all of that. The next thing you want to do is, what are the routines in your home? What are the routines in your home? What is the structure in your home? Okay, I don't land though. You're welcome. Okay, you're welcome. So what are the routines in your home? Every institution, every establishment, every working body works with some level of structure. Works when there is a system that is workable, or when there is a system that can be relied on. So you cannot run a home that has got no structure. You cannot run a home that there is no system in, and you want to raise children who will thrive. It is on the structure that you have that your children will ride on to success. It is the structure that you have in place that will help your children be successful. It is the structure that will give you peace in your home. It is the structure that will ensure that your children are enjoying what they are doing. Remember, I said it is important that your children enjoy learning. If that learning is going to if that learning is going to be internalized, then your children must enjoy it. And part of enjoying it is the structure that you have created in your home. I tell you what, sometimes at the beginning when you create these things, it seems like it's not working. Or sometimes if you're introducing it late for your children, let's say you have children who are already 11 and 12, in fact, even 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and you haven't had a structured system in you don't have structure in your home, and all of a sudden you want to introduce it. It could be kind of, frustrating if you don't put yourself in a calm place to go through it. It could be really hectic at the beginning, right? But hey, I promise you, if you can stay in there, train yourself to be calm while you are at it. And even if you fall by the sideway from now and then, get up, have a word with your children, bounce back on that journey. Very importantly, stay on that journey with them consistently. You will be amazed when the results begin to show. I give you a testimony. Let me tell you a testimony. So if you are parents, if any of the parents in our mentor parent support program is here, all right, they will testify to this. So for whatever program I run with parents that I work with, usually I will run, that program, I will run with my system at home. I'm a mentor parent, isn't it? So I show you by example, basically. Right. And of course, when people ask me, what is your unique selling proposition, right? My USP is actually my journey, basically. So I take you I work with you even while I am on my journey, basically. So I share my experiences with you. If you've been following me, a lot of the posts in the group are my experiences, and that's very intentional. It's very deliberate. Okay. Now, so those of them in the parents in the mentor parent support program know that every term for the last 3 terms, one of the goals that I have for my 11-year-old has been being able to wake up on his own and go. Like wake up in the morning on his own and wake up in the morning, even when you wake him, for him to wake up and get into his routine on his own, and all of that. It's been one of the most difficult things, or one goal that we have stayed on for a long time. Okay. But I'll tell you something this holiday. So this holiday, of course, we had our usual holiday plan and all of that. So my son went to camp. My son went to camp at some point for 3 days. So he went to camp for 3 days and he came back. Came back from camp, and then we got back into our usual routine. We have a time that we wake up. Sometimes he will wake up late. Other times I'll have to wake him up. When I wake him, he will drag for a bit and all of that. And then I went through a program with my son. I ran a program recently in the academy. It was called, in fact, we're about to finish right now. It's called From Setback to Success, right? It was a program to prepare us to go back to school. So it was from setbacks to success. So we had a few setbacks. And of course, I went through a program. I had a psychologist. I had a trained expert, an educator, a trained expert. I had a trained psychologist, a doctor in psychology. Okay, I had that. And then, of course, I was in that program also. So during the course of that program, we had sessions. So I was a participant as well as a coach in that program. So we went through the sessions with them. There were sessions he had to have with the psychologist alone. There was a session he had to have, planning session he had to have with the educator on his own. There were sessions we had together as parents and child and all of that. So school resumes. And then, of course, we had our talk about why this is important, why his education is all his and not mine, and all of that he put in a word somewhere there, and all of that and all of that. And so on Saturday or Sunday, he said to me, "Oh, mommy, I want to start waking up at 4 a.m. That's what my 11-year-old told me." And I'm like, "For what now? What's happening? Is the world about to end? Why are you waking at 4 a.m.? He said, "No, that's because I'm adjusting my sleeping time. I won't go to bed at 9:30 or 9. Sorry, I won't go to bed at 9 anymore. I want to go to bed at 8 o'clock." I'm like, okay. He said, "Check it. It's the same thing. If I go to 8, I go to bed at 8. It's 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 hours of sleep. That's just fine, fine for any child and all of that." So he actually pleaded his case, right? And all of that. I'm like, okay. And it's like, I just set my alarm for 4. So I'm like, that's fine if that works for you. So what would you do from 4 o'clock till 6:40 that you're going to school? And he says to me, "I'm going to wake up at 4 a.m. I'm going to exercise. I am going to read for an hour in the morning. I'm going to read for about 30 minutes or 1 hour in the morning. Then I'm going to make and pack my food and then get ready for school and then wake my sister at 6 a.m. That's what my 11-year-old told me. And as we speak, he's done that consistently. He just came in here, snuck in here to pick something and said to me, "I'm going to read a book and go to bed." He just left a few minutes ago with his book that he's reading for leisure. And then for the last, since school resumed, he's done this. And I'm not kidding you. I was talking to my niece today and I said, if I had said to this boy, "Do these things," we would have been struggling by now. But this wasn't me. This had nothing, as in basically directly, there was no tussle, there was no fight, there was no stress in the matter. He came up with this. And then I remember him talking to the educator during their session. He was in the session with other kids that were in the program with their parents. And one of his challenges, of course, why we joined the program was that he had a mindset block when it came to French, and all of that. So they talked and she told him, "Why don't you start, having, what do they call it on Duolingo? I think they have strips or whatever it is, And he's like, why don't you start using Duolingo and all that? And then since that day, he took my phone. He doesn't have a phone. He took my phone, he downloaded Duolingo, and he goes on Duolingo for 20 minutes every day since he had that session with her. He's gone on Duolingo every day and all of that. He used to struggle with finishing his note every day. He has come back. What I'm saying is, when they get to the point where it is about them, when they get to the point where they take these things, they internalize it, and they head out on their own, I'm telling you, the result is like this. It's testimony. And hey, it doesn't happen automatically. It's all you. I mean, it's you hanging in there. It's you hanging in there. How long are you willing to hang in there calmly? Yes, you will lose it sometimes. How often do you bounce back and say, sweetie, I am sorry. I had no business yelling at you. Okay, you are trying to master this skill, and you deserve to be given some time to master this skill. Just know that I am rooting for you and I want the best for you. And I think if you push in a little more effort in there, we would achieve this. It's a win-win for us, right? It's a win-win for both of us. Learn to speak to your children this way. It doesn't matter if they are 2, 4, 10, or 12. Learn to speak with your children this way. It will amaze you. So, hey, this is my testimony. This is the story. And you know something? Like magic, his younger sister is falling in line. When you can get the older sibling, to begin to set certain examples, it makes it easier for every other person to fall in line. Children, for some reason, learn better, or they copy better, or how do you call it? They key in, or they fall in queue or in line faster when it's coming from someone that is closer to them in age for some reason. So you need to get your older kids, in line, and the others will fall in place. I promise you. We've taken too long on this. All right. So create that structure in your home. What's your routine like? This is what we do with the parents in the mentor parent support program. You come in here, we work with you, we create structure, we help you create structure in your home. You create a system in your home. And so after doing that, we help you create personalized education plan for each of your children based on their individualized or their individual needs. And then we become your accountability partner, working with you and then following up with you so that when you are weak, we pull you up to be strong again. Basically, that's what we do. So this is it. Create that structure in your home and all of that, and then get to work with it. Agree on how you want to be involved in their learning. You and your spouse, who supports them with their homework. What is the time for homework? What is the time for them to study on their own? What is the time? Do you sit down and study with them? Do you sit down and study your own material while they are also studying? While you're doing, you are supervising and you are modeling at the same time, especially if you have little children. Okay? If you have children who are 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, what you want to do, even for your kids as old as 8, if they cannot self-direct yet, or if they are not independent in their learning yet, what you want to do is you want to sit with them and then determine how much support your child needs. How much support your child needs depends on the child. Don't go and listen to your friends say, my children are all independent. Oh, me, I cannot do homework with my children. What's my business? Is it me that is going to school and all of that? You need to work with your children based on their unique needs. You need to work on them based on their needs. You need to work with your children based on their need. So if your child still needs support, please support them. Be there, and in your support, don't give your children all that they need. Sorry, 1 second. Talk to Ruru. I'm telling you, I'm in the class. Please don't, if your children still need you, if they don't have independence yet in their learning, they still need you, then by all means, support your child who needs you. But in supporting them, we are not saying give them everything that they need, feed them. Stay there and give them the prompts. Stay there and give them the prompts. Stay them and cause them to reason or think more. Give them open-ended questions that will trigger critical thinking. Have conversations with them. Make time to review what they've done in school together. But make sure that you are always picking their brains first, or you're always understanding get them to talk to you so that you can understand where they are at, or the experiences that they have. Then you can help mount on those experiences or prior experiences that they have. But by all means, if your child still needs support, be there to support the child. Okay, until, as I said, they begin to get mastery. Okay, they're supposed to grow and gain mastery. Help them on that journey. Don't go there and be shouting on your children because they have a cousin who is 8 years old and the mother does not do homework. Look at you. I cannot do homework with you. After all, Benji's mother doesn't do for them. He is not Benji. He still needs support. So provide that support. Okay, very key. All right, so who is supporting them? Is it you? Is it their dad? Are you bringing someone to support them? Please, when you bring someone to support them, make sure that you monitor or that you are involved in a way. Your children do better when they know that you are involved in whatever they are learning. They do better. When your children know that you have expectations of them, then they want to meet those expectations. When you put lesson teachers and you walk away, they owe the lesson teachers nothing. They believe that the lesson teachers are there to be paid, and so there are some little kings upon which the lesson teachers' pay is dependent. For some reason, your children just do better when you are involved. All right? Yes, so Benji, your brother. All right, so let me leave parents. Okay, so these are some of the things that you need to put. Oh, very importantly, you need to create a stimulating environment in your home. What is your home environment like? What do you have? When I walk into your home, what do I see? Is it a center of entertainment or a center where learning and creativity is encouraged? How have you prepped your environment to ensure that your children love and enjoy learning? How have you done that? How stimulating is that environment? What do you have in place in that environment? We have a course that we're launching tomorrow, I think. All right, it is accelerating your child's learning experience. Okay, and the theme is creating a stimulating environment in your home. So we will help you create an environment that ensures that your child is learning at all times, especially for toddler parents. We will create an environment for you where you can invite your children to play, create, and explore. We will give you activities that you can do with your children, that your children can do alone, activities that will promote active learning and not passive learning in your children, activities that will help your children move from being dependent to independence in their learning, activities that will help your children move from being extrinsically motivated to being intrinsically motivated, activities that will help your children move from being laid back to enjoying the things that they do to learn. Amazing course. We've run that course before, and I promise you, the parents who took that course, we still have conversations, and it's like you hear them talk and you know that then these people understand the matter. All right, so if you are a parent that is lost, if you're a parent that you want excellence, you want your children to be evergreen when learning is concerned, then you need to create an environment that encourages and prompts learning. So this course is for you. All right, so let's move to the next one. The next one is you need to create plans around partnering with your child's teacher or your child's school. What plans do you have for the term to partner? What plans do you have in the term to work with your child's teachers or your child's school to ensure that you are maximizing your child's ability and your child's learning. Okay? What plans do you have? So, what I say to parents at the beginning of the term, right, this is what I usually do with the children. Before the children resume school, and even while they have resumed, it's okay. They just met the teacher for probably a few days, 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 1 week. I make the children write a letter to their teacher at the point where they are meeting the teacher, right? I make them write a letter, introducing themselves to their class teacher. Hey, Miss, as soon as they know their name. Hey, Miss Roth, my name is Adachiku Chima. I am this, I am that. I like learning when I touch the things. So your children introduce themselves and give their teacher a bit of insight about who they are. So before the teacher understands the child has given them some heads up as to this is who I am and this is the kind of learner that I am. I remember when my child was going to year 2 after homeschooling for 2 years. She actually said to her teacher, I don't like to write a lot, but I love to play with things. I don't like to sit down for too long because in foundation level, we play a lot. That was our homeschool. So basically by the time her teacher met her, by the time she resumed school, because that term they actually sent us an introduction of who the teachers would be even before we resumed school. So we knew who our homeroom teacher would be and all of that. So the moment she was meeting the teacher for the first time, she already knew who her teacher was, her name and all of that. So she addressed it to that particular teacher already knowing. So what you do is you break the ice. Okay, with that the child is able to break the ice and connect with the teacher. For some reason, as a teacher, I'll connect with a child that I already have a chance to know, or somehow before somehow that teacher would read that letter that morning at break time or at the end of that school day. So by day 2, that teacher knows this child a little more than she knows every other child. She knows that this child is a kinesthetic learner. She knows that this child really doesn't like to write. She knows that this child is assertive. She knows that this child is from a home where the parents are very intentional. So basically, you set the pace, right? You set the pace for your relationship with your child's teacher from the word go, basically. That's what an introduction does, for the child. And it can be done even after a week, basically. You can do that, right? So that's one. The next thing we do is I write to the child's teacher. So what I try to do, I try to be in school on the first day in school, or one of us has to be in school, and we walk the kids to their classroom. So we want to meet the teacher, look eyeball to eyeball, shake your hands and say, oh, we are excited to meet you. We're looking forward to an exciting term. You have broken the ice. When children connect with the people who teach them, they learn. Learning is not, you cannot learn from someone that you don't really like. You cannot learn from someone that you don't connect to, or at least the learning is not as effective as it is when you like the person or when you connect with the person. So what you're trying to do, you're trying to establish or you're training your child to break the ice, okay, and to, connect, or giving the teacher, an easy way to connect with your child from the first day. It's a good thing. It is an amazing thing to do. So basically, that makes it easy for their connection, right? And so I write to the teacher, of course, or I try to meet the teacher, or I ask for 5 minutes with the teacher within the first 2 weeks of school in the communication book. Hey, Miss Stella, I will be coming to school. Of course, I come to pick Adachiku at this time. Would you be free for 5 minutes one of these days? Give them the time to agree to see you. When they come to see you, it's pretty simple. I'm a dad's mom, and this is it. We're excited to meet you and all of that. She's like this, she's like that, she's like this, she's like that. Feel free to, we share numbers? Can I have your number? I took my daughter's teacher's number today. I was in school. Today is day 3 of school, day 4. So I took her number today. I was in school today. And I was in a classroom. So I took her number today. Is it okay to call you? Now, this is my number. It's okay to call me if there is any trouble. So basically, or if there is anything you would want to discuss with me, what are you doing? You are building a connection from day one, making the teacher know that this parent, this child is one of those kids that you not do anyhow with. It is like that. As teachers, I'm telling you this as an insider. We know the children that you play with, and you know the children that you don't play with. You know the children that you want to double check their communication book before you send it home. You know the children that you want to double check that everything is okay, because their parents will ask, what's going on here? When is it so? So parents, teachers know parents who are involved in their children's learning and in their children's education, and they know parents who are busy, and it is the nanny, or they know parents that look at those communication books once in a week, once in a month, and the ones that look at it consistently. So you want to meet your child's teacher on this basis, like, hey, we are involved in our child's life. This person is royalty. This person means everything to us, and we are here. We are intentional about raising this child. And then, of course, you want to say to the teacher, I am here to partner with you so that we can help this child achieve their best, become the best version of themselves. So basically, you want to launch that early in the term, basically. Okay, send that. Then the next thing, you want to start asking questions like, is it okay to know what they're doing in school? Do you share your learning objectives? Hi, Gold Amadi, it's good to have you here. Do you share learning objectives? Do you share a bit of your scheme? Is there anything we can do with her or for her when she comes home? You want to ask those questions. Okay, if it's a school that they share these things, so it means you can get a copy of what your child is doing in school for reinforcement at home. For those of us who like to go ahead by one topic, or those of us who like to introduce topics before the children, get there, just to give them a background, give them a background experience about that topic, you can. For those who partially homeschool like me, then you want to know what to use as your content when you are homeschooling. Okay, so if you know the basis, or you know what the school is doing with the child, or the learning objective of what your school is doing with your child, then you know where to take it from, and then how to stretch and expand it. Because when you homeschool, homeschooling does not have limits. Homeschooling just goes with where the child wants to go. Does your child have the capacity for this? Is your child ready for this? So if my child comes home and we're doing 2 times table, he's done with 2 times table, and he doesn't have a problem with 3 times table, we go there. If he's done with 2 times table and he begins to, 4 times 4, mommy, 4 times 2 is 8. And then I know you're ready for 4 times table, then we go there. And then you get there, you're like, 5 is easy peasy. Let me know. Let me know how it's easy peasy. 5, it's the same thing as keep counting by 5. The child figures it out. And the child is like, let me see if I can figure out 6 times. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 8. 12. 6 times 3 is 18. I can figure. We're ready for 6 times. Let's go there. That's what homeschooling is like. Homeschooling allows you to stretch, but it is based on the child's ability and what the child is ready for. So for some of us who partially homeschool, that content, or the content of what the child is learning in school, is important. It becomes the basis for where you start with the child, and then allow the child to help you or lead you to travel to where the child is ready for. So that's why a lot of times you hear, there's a child, that the child is at 12, the child is going to Harvard. Most times, check it, these children are homeschooled children. They are homeschooled children. And don't worry, it's not the parents that say they are ready to go to Harvard. It's not the parents. It is usually the system that figures out that they are geniuses. And so that when you say you want to rush your child and take them to secondary school at 9, you say, Coach Marybeth said we can take that. I didn't say anything like that. It's only in this part of the world that we are the ones that declare ourselves whatever. We declare our children geniuses by our own standards, not by the standard of any system. Okay? All right, then. Do you have any video to guide parents or what to homeschool toddlers? Not exactly, but you can send me a DM or send me a direct message. We can talk about all that. All right. So basically that. So get that with the teacher, get that now, establish some kind of relationship with school management, the people who really own the school. You want to make sure that you have a cordial, right? A cordial relationship with them, right? Basically. So you want to make sure as a parent that you are willing to volunteer. So when the school calls for volunteer, when things are happening in the school, be that parent. You're not poking your nose per se. You're not poking your nose per se. You're not going there to go and tell them you are not doing the right thing. Do this. No, but be so relevant in the school system that you can say to the proprietors, "Oh, amazing job you're doing, Mrs. B. Amazing job." But I was thinking perhaps, if the children, I was thinking, the children this could be of help, to the children, if the children can actually, if we could we do something like music? We don't have this in the curriculum. This is something that you could look at. You are just that person they could listen to, basically, because of the kind of cordial relationship you have with them. You have your child there. So you should be able to create a system where the people who matter listen to you. You are not a bug. You're someone that they are willing to listen to. Okay, you do this for the sake of your children. Have a system where you can come in and be a part or influence, some of the things that happen in there. You can ask questions and be answered. Okay, do that for yourself and for the child. All right, the last one we're looking at is that your children are able to create goals for themselves and create plans, right, to achieve those goals, and then have some sort of a commitment to those goals. So yes, what we do with the children at the mastermind circle. So the mastermind circle is a group, is a program that I run in partnership with my 12-year-old. All right, I run that I'm just the matron there. He runs that. Now it's a mentorship and it's a peer mentorship and accountability group. And the essence of the mentor of the mastermind is to help children become self-conscious, begin to self-direct, and then build their executive functioning skill. And then, of course, understand, learn, and begin to allow you hold them accountable. Accountability is such a huge thing that you need to teach your children today, especially your boy child. A lot of men we see in Africa, yes, a lot of African men do not like accountability. They do not like, the only place that they will allow anybody hold them accountable is at their workplace. And sometimes even at their workplace, their egos still come in conflict with their work ethics. That is the reason that is the reason as a woman, you get into some altercation with a man and then he asks you, "Do you know I have your type at home?" That is the reason men are constantly, they do not explain to anybody whether they are wrong, whether they are right, because we do not have a system that holds people accountable. So even when people are giving you objective criticism or they are trying to, point your attention to something, people don't know how to take it. Everything is seen as an attack. It is because we do not raise children who are accountable. So you cannot say to the child, "Oh, okay, you're supposed to do this and you didn't show up. I would like to know why you didn't show up." If we put children in a place where they can be, their friend can say, "That was a nice review, but I think next time you could look into the camera more, you could this, you could that." If children begin to get this kind of feedback, they understand feedback, they appreciate feedback, and they know that there's something that is called an objective criticism. So you hold the children accountable. By the time our children set goals, so in the mastermind, the children set their personal goals. So this term, as we speak, the children have already they've set their goals, and they are sending in their vision boards already to the group. They call themselves partners. So Kamsi is just the lead partner, but he's a partner. The partner and they work, and I'm just the matron. You call me the guardian angel that is there, like the principal that checks who has not sent in their goals, who has not sent in their vision board, what goals did you create, what commitments are you making. So we do all of this at the mastermind. So the children create their goals and they don't leave it at their goals. They cut a small strip and they write the plan that they have to attain this goal, what they do every day to achieve this goal at the end of the term. So you have children say something like, I want to have straight A's in all 14 subjects this term. So the question we ask them in the circle is, how are you going to achieve this? Then, of course, they take the next trip and they write, I'm going to study for 45 minutes every day. At the end of each day, they send in their report from their journal. In that journal, they will write, I read physics for 30 minutes today. I read a book for leisure. So based on their goals, they report what they did that day based on the goals for that day. And then as the matron, I will comment on it. Awesome, Chindi. I like the fact that you are focused on your goals. I see that you achieved 5 out of 6 of them. I know that with more effort, tomorrow you will do even better. Well done. So we do this with the children every day. Every day, this is what the children are doing every day. Please tell me, why would the children not stay focused on their goals? And we do Kingdom Life, so you cannot lie. You don't even have a phone, so you have to take that, what do you call it, your journal, and your mom will have to take a picture on that, of your journal and send. So if you as a parent will see that your child is lying in that journal and you will take a picture and send it to me, then tomorrow don't come to me and tell me, I don't know where it's coming from, it's lying. So you see how we hold them accountable. So they don't lie. So sometimes they will report only 4 goals. I wasn't able to read a book for leisure today for 15 minutes. And we don't criticize them. We don't shame them. We just encourage them. We fuel them. Because we know that consistency is the key. If your child can do something for 5 minutes every day, it's better than them doing it for 3 hours once in a week. It's better than them doing it for 10 hours once in a month. No, 5 minutes a day is what we need. 5 minutes a day is how we start, and then we move to 6, and then 7, and then 8, and then 9. This is how we achieve excellence. By having the children set their goals, put their goals on a vision board. The Bible says that you should write down your vision so you can run with it. Anybody who sees it can run with it. So we teach our children these skills right from when they are 6 and 7. So the children in the mastermind start from age 7. From 7, they're already writing goals. We send them pictures, a variety of pictures where they can pick from, cut and put in their vision boards, and then create their plan under this. We also have them read books every month. So every child in the mastermind reads a book for 2 hours. Read 2 books in a month. You will read the book because you will review. We will all sit down and cross our leg, and you will give us a review of the book that you read. And we will clap for you and we'll say, congratulations, amazing review. Oh, he did this, he did well, and all of that. We are putting our children up to be accountable. We are raising children to be peer mentors to each other. And so some of the kids come in at 7 and they're very shy. By the end of midway into the term, they've lost that shyness because, hey, they see people, their ages, or someone, they don't even care about their ages. They see other people doing it, and so the children step into that place. So that's it. You want your children to set goals. So when your children set goals, that's your child. You don't force them to set the goals. You work with them and you make them set those goals. And so you hold them accountable by those goals. Exactly. You hold them accountable by those goals that they set. Okay, so basically the vision board is just for you to say to them, hey, sweetie, run and look at your vision board. What did you say you achieved there? So by the time his first semester, his first continuous assessment comes, you send him back to his vision board. Sweetie, this does not look like the goal you said you want to achieve, right? It doesn't look like it. And of course, the children have what we call the study group. So on Saturday in the mastermind, they show up with whatever they are struggling with in school, because we are very focused on those goals. What are you struggling with at home? What are you struggling with in school? Come to the study group. Let's talk about it. Let's help you. I mean, so the children are solving problems for each other, right, in the study group. And sometimes we bring in people, especially when we do math. I like to bring in a teacher to be right there with them, so that while they're doing that, he can say, oh, amazing, that's good. Okay, and then he can. All of this online, virtually, Google Classroom. And then our meetings are just twice in a month. And that's it, twice in a month for 1 hour on a Sunday evening, basically. So basically, if you want your children, you need to get them to set these goals, create plans to achieve these goals, hold them accountable by these goals that they are, accountable to what it is that they've said they would do, basically, and then you are consistent. I will wake up in the morning and I will make my bed. I told you about my son, he wakes up in all of this. His bed is made. By the time I walk into it, so I wake up in the morning with my headphones in my ears. I am praying. So he's up at 4 a.m. and I come out at 5:30. I go into his room, come out to see him. He's wearing his singlets and his trousers, and he's packing food for himself and his sister into their bowls. And I'm like, okay, I know what he's cooking, because of course there's a menu table that they already created. And I'm like, are you all packed? And he's like, yeah. And I look at it. All I need to check is, okay, everything is okay. And it's all of that. Oh, well done, sweetie. And all that. I go. And then I begin to do my exercise. I exercise every day for 1 hour, 30 minutes. And it begins at 6 a.m. Sometimes I begin to exercise at 6 a.m. All I need to do is walk around the house, up, down, until the children get into the car and leave with their dad. And then I go out, and go on. So you see, everybody is winning. Everybody is winning. This is what structure does for you. This is what structure does for your children. This is how you get your children in that space where they begin to self-direct. And this is how they win. If they win at home, they will win in school, I promise you. If they win at home, they will win in school. So don't let your children go to boarding school without a plan. Let the plan that they've created, let the goals that they've set, let it characterize your conversations when you are writing them the mail or you're talking with them on the phone. Let those phone sessions, after all the pleasantries and all the sharing of what's happening, how about your friends? Wait, when you finish all of that, ask them how you doing with your goals. Are you on target? And all of that. Let this be it. Have something that you share. Be a team when it comes to their success in school. And this applies with their skills that they are learning. Are they learning music? Are they learning to play tennis? Are they learning to play football? It applies with everything. Are they building a small business? It applies in everything. It applies with your toddler. It applies with your children of young age, and it applies with your with your teenagers and even your young adults. You can apply this. Just tweak it to what works. All right. So I think we have to stop here today. Let me see. Have I had any question here? How do you hold a 2+ accountable ma? So your 2+ old, you are teaching them habits. You are training habits in them. So your 2+ old is going to be learning to brush their teeth. He's going to be learning to take his clothes back into the laundry basket. He's going to be learning to take his plate to the kitchen when he's done, right? And then, of course, you have taught them this. And then every time while you are putting the food or while you're handing them the food, hey, sweetie, you're going to eat your food. What are you going to do afterwards? And when you're done eating, get the kitchen. Really, would you do that? Awesome. Mommy is believing that you would. Walk away, stay away, let the child, where you can see your child, of course, so that you don't choke. Do that and then see them do that, take it, go into the kitchen and drop it. If they don't wash it yet, that's fine. When you see that, he walks out. Did you just do that? Yes, mommy. Awesome. Awesome. You all have just done something amazing. I like the fact that you are focused. I like the fact that you did that all by yourself. Now, mommy knows that I can trust your word. Basically, that's it. Gradually, you're sowing the seeds, habits, you're sowing and all of that. So let the child know what they are responsible for beforehand. Okay, have conversations about this. And then, of course, when they achieve that, they know that you're holding them accountable to achieve this. We agreed that you would do this, sweetie, and you're not doing it right now. Look at your socks is right here. We agreed that you would do this. All of that is accountability. All right. Hold your children accountable. Exactly. The mastermind is the place to be. This has to be one of my persons. Your name is not showing here because Facebook, you didn't give Facebook access for us to see your name. Hello, coach. Help my children grow and gain. Exactly. Thank you very much. Make them understand. Okay. I see everyone was re-echoing what I was saying. So thank you very much. If you're catching a replay, let us know that you're catching a replay. We have the account number right there on screen. If you would like to be a part of the accelerate your child's learning experience. Okay, we want to create a stimulating environment in our homes, and we want to help you achieve this. If you'd like to be a part of that course, you can join us. It's not free. It's for 5,500 naira. If you pay from now till the first week in October, after that, it is 7.5, I think. All right, but hey, your space will never be the same. The way your children view learning is going to be different. It will be the turnaround you need to establish lifelong learning in your home. I promise you. Thank you very much for everyone who made it here. Thank you, Dari. Thank you, Facebook users. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. If you're catching the replay, let us know if you got value from this session. Malioja, thank you very much. Let us know if you got value from this session, and let us know if there is any way that we can help you achieve all of these things that we're talking about. Thank you. My name is Meribai Chima. I do not take it for granted that you allow us to be a part of your parenting journey. Have a lovely rest of the day and a beautiful weekend. Bye. Bye bye. You're welcome.